Hi there, hope everyone can hear me. My name's Jo and I'm coming to you from my studio in Milton Keynes. I'm the owner and designer at a company called Your Perfect Invite. We're a wedding stationery company based in Milton Keynes, and we design, create and make all the possible things you could need for your wedding in terms of paper goods. So we've started these Tuesday chat sessions, which will be live sessions, which I'm thinking will last around half an hour. And we're either going to be talking to one of our former clients, so someone who's been there, seen it, done it, going through exactly what you're doing now in terms of planning. So you can have the opportunity to pick their brains and ask them any questions. Or we'll be talking to one of our friends within the industry, another industry expert, so you can glean as much information from them as you can as well. But tonight we're starting with one of our former favourite brides. Her name is Nikki. She's now a pitcher. She's not a warmer anymore, but she's a pitcher. So I'm going to invite her in now, which hopefully this should work.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nice shade of lipstick. Nice.
Oh, thanks.
Lovely. So this is Nikki. She's one of our brides. She got married in August this year, after originally being scheduled for June last year, but that didn't quite work out, did it? Oh, have I frozen?
Yes, you're frozen.
Okay. Just bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm back, but you did look beautiful for the time that I was gone. Thank you for that. So I was just saying that you got married in August this year, didn't you? After originally being scheduled for June last year. So got married at Coltsfoot Country Retreat?
Yeah, that's it. In Nebworth.
And it's pretty beautiful there, isn't it?
Yes, it was certainly my favourite venue.
Oh, how many did you look at then in your planning?
I think I looked at about 10 actually.
10 different venues.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll cover this later, but I was quite restricted in the number of venues or the area, because I had a church wedding and then a different reception. So I was quite restricted in my area in terms of distance. So
it was the church really that drove the sort of where you were looking in terms of the venue then?
Yes, so I wanted about 20-minute drive, max, half an hour maximum from the church to the venue, because I just didn't want to lose the flow of the day with everyone having to travel. So I was quite conscious of just like the time restraint and the distance for choosing my venue.
Yeah, that's a key thing to think about, isn't it, in terms of your venue? If you're having a church ceremony, obviously if you've got everything in the same venue, then that's not so much of a problem. But yeah, if you've got a church, certainly we got married in a church as well, and we had the same sort of issue in terms of the drive. But it is gorgeous, isn't it? I'm going to share my screen now. I've got a few pictures of the venue. It's a barn style venue, isn't it? But it's not quite a barn, is it?
Yeah, it's like quite stable-esque. Because you've got I should actually correct, but I think it's in Datchworth, but in terms of the postcode, but it's a barn-esque style with rooms around the ground. So on your screen right there, there's a shepherd's hut, which they've started to extend the rooms to allow for more guests to stay overnight. And they've recently renovated it because it had quite low roofs in the actual ceremony room. So they've taken the low ceiling out. So now it's more barny, which I liked both, to be honest. But it's just really gorgeous, and it's got gorgeous gardens, and then opposite they've got an alpaca farm. So it's really kind of, there's nothing around it really, to be honest.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And is that it's not, you didn't go for the rustic vibe though in your wedding, did you? You went for quite a contemporary look in terms of the stationery, didn't you?
Yes, I suppose my look and feel of the wedding came before the venue, maybe. Like I feel with a barn-esque style with the Hessian, etc. I didn't want to go for that look.
Yeah.
Very early days before the venue choice, I kind of wanted a cleaner, more classic look that was kind of like more timeless.
Yeah. I remember that was a word that you used when you came in to visit us. Was you wanted that classic and timeless look, didn't you?
Yes. I mean, I hope I got that look across when I was doing everything. But yeah, and I think with Coltsfoot it's really versatile. Although it's barny or barn-esque, stable-esque, it's not necessarily that's only what you have to have in the. You don't have to have the barn look and feel in terms of all your decoration. It's quite versatile.
Yes, it's what I would say, like a modern chic type of barn, isn't it? Not your rustic kind of barn. So so you had the church wedding then. That was quite important to you, wasn't it? I think your Reverend Ruth, wasn't it? I've got some pictures here.
Yeah.
She christened Scott, didn't she?
Well, Reverend Amanda christened Scott, who actually held the ceremony, and she christened Scott's brother and our niece. So Scott's brother had his wedding and the child's christening at the same time. So we just turned around and had the christening after the wedding. Yeah. And because she was quite well known to the family, we wanted to have Reverend Amanda. Although Reverend Amanda is not a reverend or vicar at the church. So Reverend Ruth on the darker haired lady there is the vicar for the church. So we actually had both vicars. On the day, in terms of, we split it. So Ruth done the welcoming and she had a reading, and then Amanda actually held the ceremony / blessings for us, which was actually lovely.
You weren't allowed any hymns though, were you, because of the singing aspect?
No. No hymns because of COVID restrictions. All churches at the moment are apparently allowed to make up what they want to do in terms of COVID restrictions. And the church council decided that if they wanted hymns, they would have to be masked hymns. And me and Scott forfeited the hymns for people to not have to wear masks, because actually that was really important to me in terms of the photos and the videography. I didn't really want to look back to see everyone with masks or head visors on. So we forfeited the hymns.
I mean, hymns, sometimes they sound not the best anyway, with depending on how tuneful your congregation are anyway.
Yeah.
So with a mark in front of them as well, that would have probably not helped with the amplification.
Very muffled. Yeah.
So your wedding was originally booked for June, wasn't it, in 2019? 2020, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You originally came to us in April 2019, didn't you? So you really organised way ahead of time, weren't you?
Yeah.
And you came in with your mum that time, didn't you? I think.
I did. Yeah. She came along to pretty much everything. Actually, it's very involved.
Was she your right-hand girl?
She was. Fortunately, actually, we are very aligned in terms of what we wanted it to look. Well, not what we wanted it to look like, because it is my wedding, but in terms of the likes, what we like together, and they were very aligned. So it was quite good to have her on side to kind of make her be along with my vision, because I have to get everyone to be on my page and be as the same opinion as me, for me to feel comfortable to make the decision, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you were really clear on the vision that you had, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I don't actually know where it came from, actually. I think initially I went through all the colours of what I wanted the theme of the wedding to look like. And I settled on grey, white and silver, again, continuing with the timeless, chic, classic look. And then kind of that started to drive everything else for the rest of the wedding, to be honest.
Yeah. What did you have bridesmaids?
Yeah, I had an adult bridesmaid and a junior bridesmaid.
And what colours were they in?
So the adult bridesmaid was in like a mercury grey.
Okay.
It wasn't harsh though. And then the junior bridesmaid was in silver. Okay. And then as you can see, Scott's in a mid grey there, and then the rest of the guys were in like a dark charcoal, so it's quite tonal. Yeah. It wasn't all one grey, which I was quite pleased with.
And that works quite well, doesn't it, in terms of sort of adding, a lot of people come to us and they get quite hung up on a specific shade, but actually when you combine lots of different shades of perhaps the same colour, that actually brings quite a lot of depth to the look of how everything comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah, and sometimes being the same shade can sometimes be a bit too much.
Yeah, and it is impossible. It is virtually impossible to match the same shade across multiple different suppliers. So it is, if you can go for different hues of the same shade, then that's, something that's, it helps sort of bring everything together.
Yeah.
So what do you remember from the first session that we had together?
I remember going into a studio and thinking, wow, there's such huge choice. When I've looked at every other supplier in terms of stationery, there was no one that had as much choice as you. I first met you at the Milton Keynes wedding fair.
Yeah.
And then I spoke to Mark and he said, come along to book an appointment. And so I booked an appointment and came to the studio. And yeah, just so much choice.
Sorry, my lights are off and I've not moved. There you go.
Yeah, so much choice. And I found the one on the shelf that I chose, and then we went in with your computer and we started just amending it to be what it looked like. And I was able to choose the font and the background type of paper, and obviously you really get to have a look and feel of the actual stationery in terms of what it's going to come out like. And then
you didn't want any scripty fonts. I remember that really specifically. I don't want any swirly, fancy scripty fonts that people can't read.
Yeah, and I just personally, I don't like any italics. I just didn't think it went with my theme.
Yeah.
So that's why I just wanted clean, fresh writing. And then obviously you pulled one together on the day for me to take home so that I could show Scott and others to show what it looked like. So, and then we kind of went from there, didn't we, in terms of placing the orders, etc.
Yeah, I've got to say you very kindly took some pictures of your, I know you've now got a nice wooden floor because I've seen your floor.
Yeah.
I'm quite envious of your wedding floor, actually. It's very nice and polished.
Oh, God.
So here's your coming up now. Here's your save the date card. So that's, we were talking about the sort of just going for that serif font rather than a scripty font.
Mm-hmm.
And the silver, metallic silver around it. So it does give it a classic but yet modern kind of look to it. So we started with you save the dates, didn't we? And then we went on to your invitations, which were like, it was a wallet style, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was quite handy for you because you did menu choices, didn't you? You gave your guests a choice of different meals to choose from, didn't you?
Yeah, which is so good about Coltsfoot, because not many other venues, they just give you a vegetarian or a meat dish, whereas obviously I was able to choose and then let the guests choose, which was really good to have it in the invite, actually.
Yeah, so we put that onto your reply card, didn't we? I think
yeah.
Look, you see, you could be a photographer, you could be like stationery photographer. So yeah, this is your reply card. So you did like a couple of starters and 3 mains, didn't you? So we sort of put that onto the reply card to help you sort of get that information back from your guests. Did that help get that information back?
Yeah, it worked really well, actually. Yeah, especially the problem was for bigger families, it got a very busy reply card, especially when kids were involved and crossing off the chips or the mashed potato, etc. But actually, there wouldn't have been any other way to really do it because the choice was quite varied. And I mean, trying to get menu choices from 90 people is going to be quite a time-consuming task.
Yeah, without that starting point and stuff. So
yeah.
So when the invitation started dropping through people's doors, did people start getting excited about the event? Did they start to get excited about the wedding?
Yes, they did. I actually had so many comments to say how lovely the invites were. One of my friends, she was like, "It's the most beautiful invite I've ever seen," and I obviously had to agree because it is for my wedding, but it was for my wedding, I should say. But
clearly, a very sensible friend. We like this friend a lot.
Yeah, but it was just the way they were done and the quality, because I know they're all handmade and it takes a lot of time, but like the quality of them was really, really good, and I was really pleased.
Oh, good. So, are you happy that it set the sort of the kind of tone that you're going for your special day?
Yeah, I feel everyone got the gist of what it was potentially going to look like. The colour scheme, I always think the colour scheme is in the invite. So yeah, I think it did get across quite well.
Good. So then obviously they all went out and then COVID hit, didn't it? And we were both like, no, it's not going to go on forever. It's fine. Yeah. So I remember March 2020 and we were both kind of like, no, it's going to be done in a few weeks. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. The famous last words.
Yeah, and then we got a bit closer and it was like, and then obviously you managed to rearrange it for the August, the following the year. So obviously the August that's just gone. Mm-hmm. But then, you were so organised in the beginning, weren't you? And then we did some change the date cards for you. But then trying to get that last invite out when we still weren't sure what was going to happen. I remember it did make me chuckle at the time that you sent Boris an Instagram message, didn't you? Saying, hang on a minute, mate, you're there with your G7 lot having a picnic on the beach. You're married.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a... Obviously, sending out actual invites and new change of dates take time, and then we only really didn't know what was happening until July the 19th when Boris said no restrictions. So we only had, it was just I got married on August the 21st, so it's only just over a month. So getting everything out and then back in from all your guests was just too much. So we decided to do a digital invite.
Yeah, like an e-invite, which I'm normally certainly dead against, but with a month and 2 days to spare, then I think in those circumstances it's acceptable.
Mm.
Yeah, so you got that out and everything, and then you obviously we worked together on the day stationery, so you had your things like your table plan. And I love these. Look, love is sweet, please take a treat. We did that little sign for you. I mean, those bags look amazing. What was in them? What sweets did you have in there?
Oh God, we had bonbons, strawberries, fizzy, cola bottles, lollies, love hearts.
And did you save yourself one? Did you get one?
Do you know, I actually didn't on the day.
No, that is. I remember that from my wedding. Oh, sorry, our wedding. I remember like the canapes. I think are just like the best thing about a wedding. The canapes and the evening buffet, I think, is very special things about the wedding. I didn't get any canapes. I'm like, I've just paid an absolute fortune.
I know. I mean, Coltsfoot bought me and Scott canapes. They were really good in terms of they were very aware that we was busy taking photographs, and then we didn't get any of the canapes, and then I literally had half a chicken skewer, and then that was it. And then I was like, oh.
It is frustrating. We had our wedding at Whittlebury and they did the same. They reserved some canapes, but I'm just watching everybody else munch on these beautiful canapes that I've paid for, and I'm like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did some little gift tags as well for you that reminded people of what they'd chosen, like menu choices. So sneakily changed their mind on the day.
Yeah, because obviously everyone ordered their meals so long ago. It was a lot of people said to me, like, God knows what I've ordered, but I obviously had known and placed the order with, so I just wanted them to get a reminder, because on the day I didn't want them to be like, well, I didn't order that. Like, you did. So yeah, that was really important to me. And so I attached it obviously to my wedding favours / name tags.
Yeah, I mean, they look pretty awesome. Did you? They were all handmade for you, were they?
Yes, yeah. My cake lady or cake supplier done the cookies as well.
I mean, your cake was. I've got your cake here somewhere. Oh no, wrong file. Your cake was white, wasn't it? And it was huge. It was really tall.
Yeah, I know. I just had.
Sorry, I have to stop and say your dress is just gorgeous, isn't it?
I
mean, look at it though. Pressure. I mean, there's us normal people during COVID piling on the pounds. I mean, that has got to have been your biggest challenge throughout the whole of your wedding planning, like in lockdown and not with that dress to get into.
I was like, I just can't put on any weight because
it's gorgeous.
It's very tight.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. Sorry, I'm just looking at how gorgeous everything is. Your cake, there it is.
My cake, yeah.
3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, I was. I don't know what it was, but for me, the invites are really important. The dress and the cake are the biggest. So I feel like the invites set the scene. The cake and the dress are both like the biggest statements in the wedding. So I was just dead set on having 5 tiers. And then my cake supplier was like, but you don't have enough guests for 5 tiers. Do you realise? And I was like, that's absolutely fine.
I'd have come and helped eat cake.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't eat any of that on the day either. But no. I was just dead set on having 5. So I went for 5 in the end.
You had different, each layer was a different flavour, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was summer fruits and vanilla, lemon, carrot, chocolate, and then red velvet.
Oh, red velvet. Was that the top one?
Yes, and it went so quickly because obviously the top one is tiny.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, yeah, but what you chose the best flavour and the shortest, in the smallest distance, like in the smallest.
Oh, tier. Well, the lemon was very nice, and Scott's favourite. Lemon's nice, and then Scott's favourite is carrot. But I was like, well, you can't have it on the bottom because not everyone likes carrot. So I was like, you can have it on third.
I made a really nice carrot cake at the weekend. Actually, it is a nice carrot. It is nice cake. Yeah, it looks amazing, and the sort of the intricacy of the flowers on there as well.
Yeah, and she does them all by hand because I was initially looking at getting real flowers. Yeah, but it was a lot of effort and they don't last very long. So she made them all out of sugar. So out of sugar.
I wouldn't even know where to begin on that. And I think that sort of highlights, that when you know what you know, you know what you know. So I'd consider myself quite a creative person, but man, I cannot make cake. I can make cake, but I can't make it look good. It tastes all right, but there's no way it looks any good. But you're right, in terms of the statement pieces, the cakes, is the big photograph of the day, isn't it? The cutting of the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, that was an amazing choice. That was really delicious. We did a little sign for everybody to know what flavours each one of them was, wasn't it? Look at your dress. Gorgeous, isn't it? So in the whole planning of your wedding then, did you come up against any major obstacles other than sort of obviously the world pandemic that hit? Your biggest sort of challenge that you came up against? It's okay to say nothing,
Yeah, no, I think because I enjoyed the wedding planning element so much, it was all really fun to me. Obviously, COVID was and wasn't a challenge. I was very fortunate in terms of I managed to keep all suppliers for my new date. I think the biggest element, or for someone else who might be planning a wedding, a challenge might be visualization in terms of knowing what it all looks like, because no supplier works together really.
Yeah.
You go and give your what you're looking for from each supplier, and then you just expect it. You won't see it all come together until the final day, and then quite frankly, if you don't like anything, then it's a bit too late. But just trying to piece it all together to make sure it will come together on the day. Table plans in terms of where everyone was sitting was probably my hardest challenge, because you do ultimately want to keep everyone happy, and you're putting 80, technically, other than the family, to putting 80 strangers together.
Yeah, that's true,
you just hope everyone's going to get on.
I guess they're all these people are in your lives because you like them for some reason or other. Hopefully, they all find something common to chat about. But yeah, it is a weird thing, isn't it? So you're throwing all of a sudden like a whole load of people together that potentially haven't ever really met.
Yeah, but ultimately they're all there for you, and there is so much love in the room, and everyone's there to have a good time, to enjoy it, to see you and your new husband, and I think that's what's the most amazing thing about the day, is that everyone that you love is in that room, and
I'm welling up.
You're the centre point and attention.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely true, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? And I think that's what sort of, everyone missed over COVID, isn't it? And sort of being together really highlights how important it is to have all those people in your lives, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Did the day fly by? Because that happens, we hear that a lot, like the day literally 1 minute getting ready, the next minute it's midnight.
Exactly. So obviously you're waking up in the morning and it's so busy. I mean, we started at 8 o'clock in the morning, ready for a 12:30 ceremony, and you're busy getting ready. You're with the bridesmaids, and it was mainly me and my bridesmaid in the room actually, and the two mums were in and out. But yeah, getting ready, you don't have time. You don't really have time to be nervous because there's so much else going on. It all got a bit real when I got my dress out. I was like, oh my God.
I'm doing this.
Yeah. And then we got back to Coltsfoot, and then the welcome drinks and that went really quickly. But also you're very much away from your guests because you're with your husband taking the photographs, because you need to catch those moments. And then the meal was lovely and the speeches were really nice. And then it was getting about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and I was like, oh God, it's coming to an end. There's not much left of the day.
Yeah.
And I was just really thinking, no, you need to kind of still be in the moment and kind of still enjoy the day. But it does get, when everyone goes home, because I mean, it's your one only, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fair to say you've got a bit of the wedding blues, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, looking at the photos and remembering the day, I feel I was a bit. I had wedding blues for about a good month, but then all of a sudden, looking at the pictures, it all comes back again, and you think, oh, that's it, it's done. I mean, I'm hoping I can do a 10-year renewal.
I said that. So we did. We had the most amazing honeymoon. So we got married, and then we went to Vegas, LA, and then Hawaii. So we were away for 4 weeks. So when we got back, we were still very much in the moment of the wedding and still talking to everyone about the wedding. And everyone was like, "Wow, God, that was 3 weeks ago. We've moved on since then."
Oh God, yeah, but no,
seriously depressed.
Yeah. It is. It's really sad. It's like gutting, especially that means Scott waited 3 years, and a lot of that was planning, and then it was a bit stressful in the lead up because we had such a short period of time. Because just before, I think mid-July, we still didn't have suits for anyone and stuff like that. So it's a bit like, ooh. So it was very much stressful in the lead up, but enjoyable. And then when it was finished, I was like, well, what am I going to do with my time? I haven't got a wedding to plan. But
but no, and then I got you involved in this and stuff, so I'm keeping the wedding dream alive for you as long as I can. So just one last thing on stationery. I would say that it's like the glue that holds everything together, just because like it's the very first thing that people see of your wedding, and then it's we're doing your thank you cards now, so it's also the very last thing that people see, and it's there with you on the day as well, with your table plan and all your stationery. So I always think of it as like the glue that holds everything together. Is that a fair analogy, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. It's like the one consistent, isn't it? Because it's seen you from the beginning right through to the end. And for me, it was very important to make sure everything flowed, and that was the one thing that people can see consistently in terms of it had the same font throughout every item of stationery that we had in the wedding. It had the same colour scheme. And I mean, that was my choice. Not everyone has to do that, but I just wanted it to be exactly the same throughout. So it absolutely holds everything together.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to ask anybody who's watching if they've got any questions. If you want to pop any questions in for either Nikki or myself, then we'd be happy to answer them. But yeah, I mean, looking back, what was your favourite memory of the day, do you think?
Do you know, actually the ceremony, I think the vicar she done a really, really good job. And although it was in a church, it wasn't overly religious.
Yeah.
We very much gelled with the vicar and all suppliers, to be honest. I had a really good relationship with all of them, although Scott did as well, but it was mainly me being the main contact. But so yeah, she knew what me and Scott were looking for. We knew her style because we had seen her marry before. And just the words that she was saying just really resonated with Scott and I. And that did actually make me realise I did want to get married in a church, and what love and marriage is all about, really. It really is about you and your husband. And I think that gets lost sometimes when planning a wedding. It's about love. It's about starting your new lives together. It's about the two of you moving forward, not really anything else.
That's just like literally the most perfect way to finish it. That's like so possible and so like it just sums up everything personally, like perfectly. It just sums everything up, because that is absolutely what it's all about. And as you say, that does get lost in the moment quite a lot. So yeah, no, thank you ever so much for that insight and for coming on and talking to us. I haven't had any questions, but hopefully that's because we've answered everything that anybody could possibly to ask. But thank you, Nikki. I really appreciate it. And I will be in touch again soon.
We will. I'm sure we will. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So I just want to say a quick thank you to Nikki. My lights have gone off again. It means I haven't moved. I've got automatic lights. But thank you very much to Nikki for her insight. I hope you all found that really useful. If you do ever have any questions about wedding stationery at any point, we do quite often hear that how overwhelming it is to do. We are absolutely here to answer all of your questions at any point that you have them. So as I said, we are here in Milton Keynes. We're a kiln farm, but we are also online, www.yourperfectinvite.co.uk. So yeah, give us a call or get in touch, and we hope to be of assistance to you soon.